Hello there and welcome back to another video here on the Master Moldy channel. And just before we start today's video, which is a really fun video, we've got more Mech MOCs coming your way. I'd like to urge you to subscribe if you haven't already. We're so close to 500 subscribers and we're trying to hit 500 before Christmas. It would be the best Christmas present from you all. So don't forget to like the video at the end if you did enjoy the video and made it the whole way through. And now let's get into the topic of today's video, which is more Mech MOCs. I love the mechs and I love making Mech MOCs because I've got about 13 already on my shelf, including the two we're going to go over today. You probably saw the characters in the thumbnail, so it's going to be Cyclops and Rogue. And if you didn't see the thumbnail, well, you clicked on the right video anyway. You've seen me customize Lego mech models, which you can see here have the bending arms. I think the next thing I did was create custom mechs of characters Lego hadn't touched. For Star Wars, we got Vader, Boba, and Stormtrooper. So I had to create Palpatine. I've created Luke, I've created Rex, I've created Marok from the Ahsoka series, and really representing any Inquisitor from any show. So that was a great one. The next one I did was took my older mechs, like Hulk, like Thanos, like Wolverine, and I do have a Miles Morales and Thor if you want to see me upgrade them mechs from the Lego models to my sort of models. But I took Wolverine and upgraded him. I then started creating different ways of using not only the parts from the mechs but my own pieces to represent them. So you can see on the back of this Sentinel, we'll see Wolverine and Sentinel again in this video, but instead of using the back from the recent Star Wars mechs, I've just pieced it together with my own Lego pieces. And today, of course, we're on to our final two to add to the collection, Cyclops and Rogue. So I'm going to go to my desk view and we'll take a closer look at these mechs. And before we get into the mechs, just for any of you that might not be aware, Disney Plus are bringing back the XMen 90s series, XMen 97, because the show originally ran from, I think it was 92 to 96, so we're getting another season of it, and I think they've actually signed on for two series, the classic animated series from the 90s. So for San Diego Comic-Con this year, all the way back at the end of July, Hasbro announced that they'd be releasing 4 exclusive figures to celebrate this launch. And of course, 2 of these figures are Wolverine and the Sentinel. Now, Hasbro Sentinel is 14 inches tall, which their usual figure is about 6 to 7 inches, so they've made Sentinel 2 stories high, making this mech minifigure scale, or at least according to Hasbro's models. And I've also made a Wolverine mech. Both the videos are up, so you can check them on my channel. And whilst you're there, I have plenty of other mech videos, but that's not the focus of today's video, as today we'll be taking a look at Cyclops and Rogue, which of course are the other 2 figures that Hasbro are releasing. And Lego is the main, or one of the main competitors with Hasbro in the lines of toys and collectibles, as their Lego minifigure are just as popular as the Marvel Legends line and Star Wars Black Series. So we'll take a look at Cyclops first, as I think Rogue is more complicated and less of a straightforward build than Cyclops. So really both of these use very technical parts, and you can see before I start looking at the rest of the mock, the legs are probably one of the big things that stand out to you. If I take one of my other mechs that I've already built, say Wolverine for example, you can see Logan's legs are the leg piece that come in the Star Wars and most of the Marvel mechs, and even recently used on the limited designer's set Cosmic Daydream, which is this DJ booth which debuts the first Lego official release of the Purple Astronaut. But again, that's another video that's already been made. So with these mechs, usually they give the leg piece, and actually it's used for the arms as well, though I'm a big fan of posability and actually posing these mechs in some sort of fight stance. So instead of having the arms locked at this sort of angle, as you can see with the legs, I've actually added this hinge piece that you can see has come on a load of sets. Recently, I've just started redesigning my Venator, so hopefully I have a bunch of these grey on hand. And yes, you heard that right, my custom Venator mock is getting another redesign, so stay tuned, you will not want to miss it. And subscribe, turn on notifications, and you'll know when that video's out. But these hinge pieces are lovely for the arms, as it just allows you to give them any rotation within that 90 degrees. You can see anything from straight out all the way to bend up, and It allows them to have their arms down by their sides, or perhaps with Vader, he's reaching out and force choking someone, which is always fun. That's how I display my mech. So it just really improves the minifigure, and I hope to see LEGO add something like this to the new mechs. It's rumoured that we're getting a LEGO X-Wing Luke, which, with all the minifigures we've got this year, especially just in the Advent, I really hope it's the UCS figure. I don't see them putting it out in a mech, or ever again for that matter, but I'd really like to get the UCS Luke in a mech next year. And the Cyclops mech does use a custom minifigure, which I have created. The video's up on all the customs you can create with the Marvel CMF line, as I've used Wolverine's legs and headpiece to represent this Cyclops, but I've tried to recreate Cyclops muscles on the arm, just adding the odd stud here and there and a little bulge at the top for his extra wide shoulders, without imposing on the posability, so we can still raise his arms very high. And if you do have Storm and Beast from the CMF line, I think it'd be great to make mechs to go along with them and just have a whole collection of X-Men. Of course, the hardest would be Charles Xavier, because you'd have to build a giant car for him to sit in. However, you could definitely get his legs in some sort of giant vehicle. So if you want to see me build more mechs for the X-Men animated series, let me know, and I'll definitely give Charles Xavier a try. But the legs do have some new posability. Now, it's a legal technique. You've seen LEGO put studs in these pieces all the time, and these pieces are in fact the old LEGO City toilets, which now are using new pieces anyway. But they're these 2x2s with the extra round bit on top. Usually you can put two of them together to represent a love heart, but they now have love heart pieces, and all I've done is added a 2x2 round tile onto this 2x3 2x2 modified plate, and then stacked two of these together just like so, and that gives the same sort of shape as the LEGO leg. It's the same length. If I take Wolverine back, you can see the way the leg is shaped is very similar, if not the same, to this piece at the minute. And of course, you still have that 2x2 in the middle to design. Cyclops is a pretty easy buildable character, as I suppose he has yellow boots, which I maybe could have represented. I didn't realise till this week how few yellow pieces I have. In fact, all the yellow pieces I have pretty much come from a Pudsey build that I got a few years ago. LEGO made a Pudsey for children in need, and I'll actually be recreating it this Friday. So I definitely need to pick up some more yellow pieces on the wall, but I've just added some of the 2x2 round plates with the domed bottom, just to give him some sort of detailing on the knee. And again, it's just mainly blue arms, blue legs, but he does have this strap going over his torso, so where you can see most of it is blue. I've used as many blue pieces as I can, except for where I don't have any, like the brackets. You can also see not only the yellow strap that goes over his right shoulder and down the right side of his torso, well, left side of his torso, right side as we're seeing it, but also the little red logo that he has on sort of his left chest area, which I've tried to replicate with the blue Ninjago torso. It's on the wrong side, and it's more of an octopus squid-like thing, but it does the job for my custom figure. That's covered up with the mech, and I just think this looks really great, especially when paired with the other three X-Men mechs. Now, speaking of other three, let's go over to Rogue, as I definitely think there's a bit more detail. You can see once again I've used the same pieces here to get that leg shape, and in fact the legs can even bend, so these are really stiff. You're not going to wobble them. No matter how much I throw it around, it's still secure, but you can actually bend them a little bit. Of course, you don't want to bend it too far. You don't want the knees to be bending inwards, but it just means you can straighten the leg so that Rogue, for instance, can give this awesome kicking pose, and it's a bit difficult to balance, but once you've got a balance at the right angle, it'd be cool for some of the figures. But I am a fan of that slight bend that LEGO give the mech, so it just sort of helps to balance them and stand them up, and does really look cool. But for Rogue, you can see she has a bit more detail than Cyclops, blue arms, blue legs, as she does have some green, I think it's just a green design on the side of her leg, and then she has some yellow pads on the top of her yellow boots. But it's a mix of green and yellow throughout. You can see even the arms have a different shade of green, where I've used this dark green and sand green to represent the jacket. And then the usual regular LEGO green on the side of the leg and the bottom of the arms, just to show the green that she has on them parts of her body. So I've also included the belt, which does use Wolverine's logo from his belt on the mech, and really I could have picked up a few of these. Of course, Cyclops also has this belt piece, and then these round pieces here would have been great to have 2 on for a Storm mech. So if you manage to pick up a few extra of the mech, because it was a great way of getting Wolverine at the time, though I don't know really why we'd have multiple, but I'm sure you can go on Bricklink, buy these pieces and add them to your mechs, as we would normally get 1 or 2 printed pieces. And of course for the X-Men, I expect it to be the belt and then the little X-Men logo on each of the mechs. But once again, Wolverine's torso is used in this Rogue custom figure, and the video is up. Perhaps I'll leave a few of the videos I've mentioned linked in the description, as I have mentioned quite a few, but I've even used the brick built back to it, and instead of using these pieces here on the bottom, I've actually sloped it off to just give it a bit more of a roundness to the back, and likewise put a few slopes on the front so that it doesn't just bulk out and end and sort of bends in to the legs, which I think looks really cool. Of course, you've got the jacket sleeve coming up, which doesn't really limit posability. You can still lift the arms really above the head, which is probably all the movement you're going to get in some of the X-Men suits. And that is all for these mechs. So I really do enjoy building the mechs, and like I said, I've got a few more planned. I might make 1 or 2 more this year, and I'll probably do a collection video going over all the mechs I've built. But for the return of the X-Men 90s animated series, I'm really happy I got to make these 4 mechs. I would love to see Lego put something like a Sentinel mech out there. I know we're rumoured to get an X-Men jet in the new year, and in fact, these are the 4 figures rumoured to come in the set. So I'd love to see a Sentinel mech build in that, as it is minifigure scale for how they appear in the show. And I think in the old X-Men jet, we even got a Sentinel mech-like creature before most of the mechs were even popularised. So it's great to see stuff like that from Lego, and I can't wait to see what we've got in the new year. Tune in at the end of the month, the final Tuesday of the month, to see other rumours and releases. But for now, may the bricks be with you always.